other devices and systems over the internet. The framework is cost-benefit analysis, impact calc, extinction outweighs, mega skill 14, magnitude, irreversibility. Extinction is extremely high stakes. Number will be 2 times 10 to the 14th and irreversible. Contention 1, IoT prevents warming. The tipping point is now. Permafrost is starting to melt. Only emissions reductions can stave off extinction. The Queensland Times 13. He just left. I'm going to pause time at 35 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. We'll just wait.
Hey, he's gone. You good?
Sorry, my bad.
No worries.
All
right,
can I request you to go a little slow, please?
Huh?
Can I request you to go a little slow, please?
Yeah, I can slow down a bit.
There's a delay of about 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah, in that case, I will resume time now. What we've experienced is only a fraction of the impact if we don't get warming under control. Global warming is the greatest threat the world has experienced. Otherwise, warming causes extinction. Mahai Andri 22. Climate change is an existential threat. Problems aren't problems that avoid. They create a domino effect that ripples. Climate change makes areas unlivable. This could translate into unrest, war, and other problems. Climate change could be catastrophic even at modest warming. Climate has played a role in every mass extinction. Past are not limited to direct impacts. Financial crises, conflict, and disease could trigger other calamities and nuclear war. Thankfully, the existence of IoT massively decreases warming. El Mawa et al. 19. Industries and leaders around the world have had the incentive to increase the adoption of IoT solutions. IoT can reduce emissions by 18%. IoT fights climate change through advances in machine-to-machine communications. Deploying sensors to collect, process, and transmit data in agricultural activities will lead to the development of advanced techniques in precision agriculture. IoT enables more efficient use of resources and decreases waste, reduces environmental footprint. IoT can also save energy and carbon footprints with things as simple as using an app to turn off the lights. Only consume power when necessary. IoT can also collect data about climate and provide more robust data. IoT can reduce deforestation, which accounts for 50% of all carbon emissions. IoT can fight pollution with smart cities that run as efficiently as possible and keep extreme environments to a minimum. IoT can reduce time driving. Los Angeles IoT saves 30 IoT trash cans can also reduce carbon emissions. IoT also stores excess energy instead of wasting it in utilities. Even believing just the 18% can still reverse the worst impacts of global warming, Choroback 21. To keep warming within 1.5 degrees Celsius, every bit helps. Contention 2. IoT has positive effects on the economy. Current global economic growth is stable. Congressional Budget Office 23. Growth of GDP is projected to average 2.5% a year over the 24-26 period, meaning the economy is still growing. However, a potential recession looms over us, Rouge 23, as the global economy could face a recession according to World Bank Group. Also, think about potential prolonged recessions in the future that won't be happening right now. Great power war would be caused because of economic slowdown, Leo 18. The next crisis could pave the way for a large-scale military conflict, and crisis is closer than you think. 2008 almost bankrupted governments. Economic crisis more severe because we built up tolerance to our strongest macroeconomic medications. Prolonged distress characterized by antipathy fuel unrest, terrorism, and war. Populists only make matters worse. Global war would go nuclear, effective altruism 18. War between the world's great powers sharply increases the risk of nukes. Nuclear war causes human extinction, Phillips 2000. Deaths from worldwide starvation, several times direct effect. Surviving fraction might vanish after hunger and disease in a radioactive environment. Thankfully, IoT is uniquely key to reverse economic downturn, Book Culture 22. IoT can be used as a tool for economic downturn management. For example, during COVID, IoT helped promote business continuity. IoT allowed for businesses to continue as usual in many cases, and IoT made it easy transition. There are multiple ways in which IoT is being used to limit the negative impact of a less than flourishing economy. It's capable of monitoring and recording data related to a wide range of factors, making it easier to predict future events. This data can serve as a warning signal and IoT can increase the efficiency of the manufacturing process. IoT allows data to be collected and analyzed in real time, which provides stakeholders with valuable insights that they wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, and can collect data about natural resources like water, oil, or minerals and use that to ensure resources are always in abundance. Something like that could have prevented the recession of 1990. Also, crossed the Elmau et al. 19 evidence, which shows that in the future, IoT will continue to be adopted by companies, which will create more safeguards for future recessions and depressions. IoT will also be incredibly helpful to increase global GDP, Zubovich 23, as IoT has the potential to add $14.2 trillion to the global economy and up to $11.1 trillion by 2025.
Today, I stand before you to debunk the notion that benefits of IoT outweigh the harms of decreased personal privacy. So brace yourself for a roller coaster. In a world where data privacy had become a commodity, Emma's life was stealthily invaded and exploited. Unbest known to her, her every online activity was meticulously tracked. Her personal information was harvested and sold to the highest bidders. As the web surveillance tightened, Emma's once private world was crumbled. Personal secrets were exposed, intimate moments were commodified, and her identity was reduced to mere data points. She became a prisoner of her own life, haunted by the chilling reality that every moment was monitored and manipulated. In the face of this violation, Emma's trust was shattered, and she found herself forever scared by the dark of underbelly of the world that traded privacy for profits. This is just one case. There are thousands and millions out there which are suffering from either one of these causes. By 2025, there will be an estimated of 25 billion connected devices globally. That's more devices than sitcom returns on cable TV. But it is not individuals who are at risk. The potentials for large-scale data breaches and privacy violations is a serious concern. Just think about the recent cases where companies mishandled personal data, like the Cambridge Analytica scandal. With IoT, the stakes are even higher. Personal information becomes accessible to companies and government agencies, and many more. And let's not forget of the issue of consent. How often do we read those privacy policies and terms of service agreements? Come on, we need to get the cricket sounds here. We all are guilty of clicking agree without even skimming through the fine print. It's like signing a contract without even knowing that you're selling your soul to the devil or just giving a new smartphone. Moreover, the collection and analysis of personal data by IoT devices raises serious concern about privacy and consent. We may think we are in control, but the reality is that every move can be monitored and recorded. It's like living in a reality show where we are the unwitting contestants and our data is being priced and auctioned to the highest bidder. Now imagine a world where a device is interconnected from your refrigerator, which is actually analyzing what all you order and what all you need to get. And imagine your insurance company coming to collect all that data and giving you premium according to the unhealthy junk that you've ordered. It's as if your personal life has become a reality TV show. And talk about lack of privacy, come on. In conclusion, while the Internet of Things offers convenience, innovation, and a few chuckles along the way, we must not underestimate the risks to personal privacy. The interconnectedness of our devices leaves us to these valuable cyber attacks, data breaches, and constant surveillance of our lives. It's time to hit the pause button, take privacy seriously, and ensure that IoT does not come at expense of our personal autonomy. So let's keep toothbrushing habits and shower singing to ourselves and say no to the unwitting stars of the real Truman Show. Privacy matters, even in this interconnected world of gadgets, gizmos. After all, a little laughter is good for the soul, but preserving our privacy is seriously no joke. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will move on to the first crossfire.
All right, cool. In that case, I'll ask the first question. I'll start now on my first question. So, do you have any explicit evidence that states that IoT is easy to hack?
Sure. So, can I answer that?
Yeah, please.
All right. So, as you might know, the Mirai Bonnet attack in 2016 infected about 100,000 of IoT devices and disrupted major websites, highlighting the vulnerability of interconnected devices to cybercriminals.
Okay, but does one scenario prove that the entirety of IoT
can you complete my answer, please?
Sure.
Thank you. So as I stated, the Mirai Bonnet attack in 2016 infected about 100,000 of IoT devices and disrupted major websites and highlighted vulnerabilities in interconnected devices to cybercriminals. Talking about the identity theft resource in 2020, there were about 1,001 reported data cases, which resulted about 155 million records in total. The General Data Protection Regulation implemented in the European Union also acknowledges the need of explicit consent and transparency in data collection and process. In fact, this all indicates that the data privacy is a very big issue, and in fact, after each and every evaluation of technology comes a drawback to it. And in fact, I would say the disease spreads faster than prevention. Can I ask my question now, please? Thank you. Just for context, you talked about jobs and economy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So while you might know that security risk and economic costs the IoT introduces to new security vulnerabilities have also seen economic consequences. For an example, according to the I'm just giving a prior context to you so that you understand my question better. According to a study by Jupiter Research, cybercrime related to IoT is costing businesses over 1 trillion per year. That was projected by 2022. And in fact, jobs in the, if you count IoT, internet, AI, and all the fields related to IoT, there is a loss of jobs that are creating in the market. So what would you like to talk about the loss of jobs and the possible vulnerabilities to economies?
Yeah, so I think as we'll explain in our second speech, the issues that you're bringing up related to there being potential issues with hacking are not going to be that big of a deal going forward, and that many systems are being put in place to stop those things. And I think that the creation of things like IoT is going to actually generate more jobs and be more beneficial on balance, which is what we're talking about in this scenario. That's Cross.
I mean, that would be hypothetical, correct? All right, guys, do we still have time? Or
that's it. That's it. Okay. Now we will move on to the rebuttals.
All right, we're just going to go.
Okay. Alrighty. Orders his case, my case. Everyone good? Oh.
Reminder, just go a little slow, please.
I'll try. Cool. Yeah, orders his case, my case. Time. Cool. Time starts now. First thing we're going to extend here is the framework. I am the only one with a framework here in this round that is extinction outweighs all other impacts. Unless he's able to rebut that in his next speech, that's what you're going to be weighing off in this round. Our team is the only one that has extinction level impacts. That will be an instant win for us. Now, starting on his his only point he has in this round, which is reduced privacy. 1, companies are improving general DDoS security, particularly in response to new threats. That's New Star 16. 76% are investing in more than last year in response to DDoS threats. 84% of organizations that adopted IoT are investing more in DDoS defense than they did last year. And companies recognize the security risks and are devoting vast amounts of resources to fix this. That's NP 2015. Security and privacy are among the top key concern among enterprises. Spending on security technologies will increase by 46%, ahead of all other IT categories, and that of IoT will be the top area of spending. Over 20% of businesses will employ digital security services devoted to protecting business initiatives in IoT. What this shows here is that now and in the future, companies and other technology firms are increasing their spending on resources to stop how easy it is to hack IoT, meaning his concerns about personal privacy and other hacking tracking issues will not be an issue for that long, meaning he doesn't gain access to his impacts. And developing systems that detect new threats to a network, isolate the threats, or warn the user/creator can solve the problem. Core 6 Security 16. Like security by design, a detect and response mindset must be adopted from the start. Businesses must assume that IoT will be attacked and prepare accordingly. This means that investing in systems that automate the detection of malicious activity so that it can be contained and remediated before data is lost or damage is done. So we're making new systems that actually isolate attacks. So now even though one device in the IoT gets hacked, all the other ones that are connected to it won't actually be affected by the breach, meaning only one person rather than the whole system goes down. Because currently all he talks about is how IoT is vulnerable, but the only reason it's vulnerable in the status quo is because it's able to spread. The new technology that has been created recently makes it so that can't happen, meaning all of his data breach concerns don't even flow through. And now let's go on to my case, because that's his only point in the round, which was security, and then he doesn't even give an impact for that. So first of all, we tell you that we solve climate change 3 ways. 1, we do instate sensors to make sure that different climate regulations are followed. 2, we decrease energy use by making more efficient works industry and more efficient lights and stuff. We create more efficient energy production. 3, through increased communication, that means things work faster, which again decreases that, and we were able to censor deforestation, which stops that issue of climate change. Overall, we stop climate change. That's its existential impact. We gave you multiple warrants for how we stop climate change, and we say we only need to decrease by 18% to actually cause any change in the environment. So even if he minimizes our impacts, we're still going to win the link there. That's our first extinction impact, when remembering he has none. Secondly, we're going to go on to our econ advantage, where we say that IoT is able to up the economy, 1, by creating more jobs in the tech space, 2, by increasing the economic revenue just from the IoT space, we tell you is $11.1 trillion by 2025. That outweighs any privacy concerns he can tell you, and that amplifies our blocks to his decreased personal privacy things, where he tries to tell you that, because it means that businesses are making more revenue off that, able to better create new technology to block the issues of privacy concerns and other hacking. And we tell you that the decrease in the economy leads to a global great power conflict. That outweighs all other impacts. That leads to extinction. If we go into recession, that leads to conflict over trade and other things. That leads to great power war. That's a huge impact in this round. So we tell you here that we access climate change through 4 different links, and we access great power war in our second attention through economic downturn. Even if you don't buy the great power war, you still buy that we increase the econ by $11.1 trillion by 2025. That's enough for us to solve all of the personal privacy issues that he talks about in his speech. And we're going to extend our definition of privacy. Someone's right to keep their personal matters and relationships secret. What this means is that under that definition for privacy, unless it's able to rebut that, that means that other cybercrime issues won't be included in today's resolution, because it only implies about personal matters and relationship things, which means that cybercrime will not be included under the definition and can't be weighed in this round. If he doesn't rebut that in the next speech, that means his speech is completely null. All he tries to give you is privacy and surveillance concerns, but none of those actually have quantifiable impacts that he gives you, and even then, he doesn't give you any cards. The only quote-unquote evidence he gives you is this one example, and that one example doesn't even do anything. And IoT makes businesses more resilient to economic disruptions. COVID-19 brought focus on IoT devices. We can now impart measures to help contain viruses and inform decisions. Other disruptions and challenges will certainly rise. So this all shows that in future, IoT is better to regularly regulate in economic crisis. Destiny 8.
Thank you.
Affirm, yeah.
Okay, now we will have the con rebuttal. Would you like to take prep time?
Oh, no, it's a delay going on, so I'm sorry. All right, sure, I'm ready. Cool. Right. So first things first, the opposition seems to this rap battle or something. Come on, guys, it's a professional debate here, correct? And not a rap battle. You guys must, hold your leash there. Coming to the next point here, you guys gave some sustainability arguments here and there, which, in fact, your entire hypothesis was, your entire speech was based upon hypothesis. There'll be this device that'll be created, that'll help this and this and that and that. Come on, guys, let's face the reality here. Someone like Emma is being harassed every single day, and not just one, but multiple. Talking explicitly about, as you highlighted, the role of IoT-driven sustainability. While IoT optimizes energy consumption and resource management in theory, it is often different. The manufacturing and distribution and disposal of IoT devices contribute to environment degradation. For your kind information, the production of these devices extract precious metals and the emission of greenhouse gases. As you talked about global warming, come on, it's a direct link. So that leads to a contradiction, hence slashing at that point. Moreover, the constant need for upgradation and replacement of these electronic waste that pollutes our landfills, and in fact sustaining using our planet resources as a whole. The environmental cost of the IoT can't be ignored while discussing its potential benefits. Coming to the obsolescence, the rapid race of technology advancement in the IoT industry encourage frequent upgrades and replacements, which leads to obsolescence. Talking about energy consumption, as we repeatedly focus upon it, the increased connectivity and data processing requirements of IoT demands sufficient energy resources. Data centers that support IoT infrastructure consume vast amount of energy, contributing to carbon emissions again and again, carbon footprints, as you talked about. Furthermore, the reliance on battery-powered devices and IoT systems can lead to a lot of consumption of significant amount of non-renewable resources. Privacy and security concerns. Come on, aren't you just talking about IoT benefits and telling me that I'm just talking about privacy? That's the debate all about. Come on, guys, wake up. Now, the storage and the processing of vast amount of data often leads to personal information on the cloud servers, and that is, of course, a risk of data breach. Tell me, most of the biggest of the companies, tech giants, have also been hacked various of times, and that's not just one event that has taken place. In fact, every single day, people are getting scammed. There's a scandal running. People's life are getting destroyed, and personal privacy is going to the dustbin. Right. Now, next, you talked about the economy as a whole. Right. As the tech increases, so does the security reasons. It's not like the tech increases or the security decreases, correct? As the tech evolves, there is always someone out there who's ready to counter it, right? Like I'm countering your debates, or so you are, right? So every step we move ahead with technology, every step the technology evolves, there is always a lack, there's always a drop back to it. That is the cybersecurity side. And as I told about that, your entire speech about devices that are going to exist is all just hypothetical per se. Concluding in my last economy-backed reply, in fact, security risk and economy cross. Infrastructure investments, talking about widespread of adoption of IoT, the digital divide, in fact, as well as unequal economic impact. While IoT is often touted as the driver of economic growth, it is important to recognize the benefits may not be evenly distributed. Studies have shown that economic impact of IoT is tended to favor large corporations and industries. And not to forget, let's talk about the present rather than taking about the further
Best time.
Yeah, just concluding the further future. Thank you.
All right, cool. You open for cross.
Yes.
Okay, cool. As I'm first speaker, can I have the first question? Okay, I'll just ask then. So you keep telling me that I rely on hypotheticals, but I'm the only one who gives evidence to the round. What credibility do you have behind any claim?
All right. So it's not just you who are providing technological or whatever the back, talking about statistics. In fact, I gave statistics that I probably think you did not even know about, the 2016 attacks, right?
No, but so I wasn't asking about statistics. I was asking about cards that back up your claims, not your statistics. Like I need, you just give warranting.
So you tell me the device that is, okay, just tell me about the device that is, I'll answer your question in a form of a question. Tell me the device that you're trying to.
I don't want a question, I want an answer.
I mean, that's my answer. Come on.
Okay, so you say they're hypothetical, but my card tells you that they already exist. So how is this hypothetical?
No, I personally, explicitly mentioned about the device that, prevents this hacks and stuff like that. That's totally hypothetical.
No.
That
the card says that it already exists. My card says that it already exists. So how is this hypothetical?
Yeah, according to me, it's totally hypothetical because it doesn't exist. Can you tell me? Okay,
so why are you more credible than my card? Why are you more credible than a guy?
Tell me the name of the device. Tell me the name of the device, buddy.
Okay, the device doesn't have a name, but my card actually has a guy who went to college and has research in the IoT field. So in what way are you more credible? Someone who's in high school, more credible than a guy who went to college and develops IoT? Can you please help me with that?
Is your guy smarter than Google?
He's on Google. Okay, you can have the next question.
Sure. Now, as you repeatedly, okay, yes or no questions, guys. Do you sleep with your doors open, your main house gates open? Like the main
So
door
my
of
house
your
doesn't
house?
have gates.
Gates or doors, whatever you call it there.
Yeah, my bedroom door does. I do sleep with my bedroom door open.
No. I'm talking about your house gates, like the main entrance to your house.
Oh, the main door?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually do keep it unlocked at night.
Yeah. What about your phones? Do you have passwords? Unlock it.
Yeah, but all my friends know my password's 2006.
I mean, your friends do, but that's
No, but I'll tell you, I'll tell you on
password.
the internet. My phone password's 2006.
I mean, that's totally you, but you still have a password, right?
2006. That's my phone password. Like,
I mean, that's just ridiculous. Come on, guys. It's just you guys applying makeup on two of your faces. Moving forward, next of my yes or no question, all right, is that would you just go and randomly tell a stranger where you live, what you do, how much you earn, and about all your explicit content that you have in your house?
I mean, yeah,
Yes
all
or
of
no?
that's online. It's called county records. You can look up where people live.
I mean,
Like,
not just live, but all of your personal details, including your family's details
all
and
on
everyone.
Google.
You wouldn't really tell
yeah, tax
everyone
records and
out
stuff,
there
they're all
on
on
the street.
Google, dude. Dude, you can find these all on Google. Like, none of this is secret.
Right, but all right, let's chuck these two. You still agree that you keep your door locked. Similarly, keeping
No,
the
I don't.
same
I told you I
ideology
didn't keep
in
my
mind.
door locked at night. Dude, I just told you
Your
my door,
house
my front door is
man.
also.
Come on, just stop applying makeup on two faces. You
Okay.
just said that.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah, that's cross. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna take running prep.
Okay.
We'll start that now.
Just for the confirmation, we go summary now, right?
What? What do you say?
Just for my confirmation, we'll be going for summary, right? After this.
Yes.
No, we used 118. All right, is everyone good? Okay, so just based off my flow, this might be a bit of a messy speech, but I'll signpost. What I'm probably going to try and do is we're going to go our case first with some extensions and rebuttals, and then we're just going to respond to the other things that my opponent said during his speech. Okay, are we all good? Okay. If I'm missing anything, just tell me. Okay, I'll start my time. Now, so first you're going to extend our framework. This is the most important thing around. He never rebuts it. He doesn't have an alternative framework. Extinction is the biggest impact. That goes cold conceded. Since he has no links to extinction, even if we didn't rebut his case at all, we would still win this round. So let's go top down on my own case. The first thing he says is he talks about how things are going to be mined and that it's not sustainable. But we explain how we're increasing efficiency. That counteracts the effects he's talking about. As well, we're solving in other areas inefficiency and we're stopping deforestation. That still gives us our impact. That still solves climate change. Refer to our Torback evidence, which shows that even a little bit of a decrease can solve climate change. We are the only side that has an extinction impact, and we throw that through. And our sensors are going to ensure that we have this legislation that goes through and makes these things possible. Then let's just go down. He once again says that people are being scammed, but that doesn't necessarily apply to this contention as well. He completely drops all of our evidence that says that these things are going to be solved. Companies are putting effort into solving these things. And on top of that, he doesn't have any evidence that says otherwise. In fact, he doesn't bring up any cards in today's round at all. That's another thing to just vote him down for. Once again, he is a high schooler. We have people that work in the tech field. Then, for the second contention, his only response is that it goes to corporations. That is not what our argument is. Our argument is that we're going to help boost up the economy in mass. What that does is it prevents economic downturn. If it goes to a couple of companies, maybe more than a couple of people lower down, but it stops great power war, that's much more important. That's what our argument is. He completely misconstrues this and thus drops it. That's because we're the only and IoT also increases resilience against economic downturn because he doesn't have any extinction impacts. We have to flow through our entire case here. Then he says that everything we have is hypothetical, but we have evidence that IoT is going to increase data protection, that is going to increase the environment, and it helps economic downturn. This has already happened. It's going to keep happening. That's why you prefer evidence. Then he says this is not a rap battle. I'm not rapping. I'm just giving arguments out here. That's kind of ridiculous. I'm not talking at a speed that's not understandable by any of our judges, and I'm talking at a speed that gets out my arguments. I'm not spreading. I'm not talking like this. I'm not talking like trying to like rap Eminem. I'm not Eminem, okay? I'm just giving a rebuttal speech. I don't think that this argument should hold any weight in today's round. And as well, even if you do buy his argument, he gives no punishment for it. Don't buy this. This is PF. You don't run theory in PF. We're all friends here. All right, then, for the point about data breaches, he simply extends this without responding to our evidence, which clearly showed that defense against this is being adopted right now, and it's going to keep being adopted by companies, and legislation is going to happen. That's major in today's round because it completely counteracts all of his points about personal privacy. Then he says that there's always drawbacks to tech. He doesn't outline what this drawback is, and he kind of just ignores all of our main points. So the biggest things for you to remember today's round is the framework that he concedes in 2 speeches. That extinction is the biggest thing today's round. He has no links to extinction. He has no cut cards, and we are the only team that gives you clear-cut evidence. You must, well, I urge an affirmative ballot.
Okay, now we will have the on summary. Yeah.
I would like to use my preparatory time here, please.
Okay, how much?
I'd say 2 minutes, please.
Okay. Okay, that's 2 minutes.
Cool. The summary of the Internet of Things bring out significant concerns and potential harms that should not be currently overlooked. The security breach and the data breaches have talked about a lot, ethical considerations, the dilemmas regarding the collection of storage and use of personal details. I've talked about it a lot. But it seems that the opposition is not able to hear that. It seems that they're kind of ignoring all the current facts that are put on the table. And it seems that they aren't actually present in the debate. They have actually started judging on their own. That's kind of insulting all the panelists and respectful judges present here, stating why they are winning and what they are doing. But they must also recognize, when they're talking about economics ripple effect, they must also understand the underlying costs required to build such high infrastructure of IoT, right? They must also understand that in fact, these possibilities of building such large infrastructure for IoT, including data centers, including the algorithms, the machines, and the tech required. In fact, after every technology evolves, there is, of course, a drawback to it. Again, coming to my point, I must not have a card or a person to win against anyone in the debate. So that just strikes over. Come on. The more points that I would like to mention, that you guys couldn't name the device that your so-called friend or so-called relative or whatever you're talking about is building. Come on, guys, that just shows how hypothetical you guys were talking about that, right? Now, talking about technology in terms of security, as you think that I did not talk about that, I did, and that all included the insider threats, be it lack of awareness or education, complexity of integration and challenges, environmental impact. And just for your kind information, a study by Fraunhofer Institute of Environmental Safety, Energy and Technology estimated by 2020 that the IoT would consume about 51 TWh of electricity annually. And I hope you know the numbers there. The data overload, a study by IDC shows that by 2025, a global data sphere of 163 zettabytes with IoT devices contributing to a significant portion of this data. That I think clearly shows the cost and infrastructure highly required. Talking about companies evolving, don't you think that companies are evolving since the day one they launched? Day one they actually started. If they are evolving since then, as the companies usually mention, and so you currently stated as well that the companies are evolving. If they're evolving, why are still the hacks and vulnerabilities already present? They shouldn't have been there by now, correct? These were some of the arguments that I would like to highlight in the first thread, as well as not to mention that the cyber attacks are constantly increasing, with a 600% increase in IoT related attacks alone in 2017. Right? Institutes have found like 76% organizations have at least experienced a security breach caused by an IoT device alone in 2019.
All right, you ready for cross?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask the first question if that's cool. All right, and then I'll start my cross time. Now, so you're bringing up evidence in the third speech of the round. Why not bring up the evidence when it's viable earlier on in the round?
Oh, I think.
How is this evidence viable?
You asked your question. Let me answer that. I think you're having some issues with your earphone. When I talked about the Marriott attack in 2016, which targeted about 100,000 people alone, and when I talked about the 2019 155 million, the data breach. Now, coming to my question that I would like to ask you is that what is your response to the high cost required to build such a high infrastructure of IoT to maintain such servers? I know you'll say it's not depending upon the company, but it's actually the entire infrastructure that is required to build, and that in fact deteriorates the economy. A side question to this is that that actually the particularity of the global warming, as you talked about, if you could just underline the way that this infrastructure that I'm talking about also underlines the cost of global warming.
Okay, so if you're
concise, my question is, yeah, I'm doing that for you. Don't worry. Please come up. The question about the cost required to build this infrastructure, which also includes the cost of global warming.
So we are generating over $14 trillion in global GDP, which I think will definitely make up for the amount of money IoT has to spend. And we gave multiple reasons for how IoT will actually increase efficiency and which will prevent the warming impacts you bring up. And we give multiple warrants, which I can summarize if you want me to, as to why we're solving warming. All right, cool. In that case, I'll ask another question. Why should we buy your examples from 2019 and 2016 if that was over 4 and 7 years ago when our evidence is more recent?
I mean, why should we buy the argument of your device that is not really ready right now when would be ready in the future? I mean, the evidence, right, so 2019 is 2 years ago. Not 2, my bad, 4 years ago. And the data that we collect, the data that is circulating around is not really what you said is actually hypothetical because it's currently not ready. And what I'm talking is already something that's happened. So that makes the huge difference here because you also do not have exact data, quantified data year by year, stating that the device is ready or whatever that device is actually doing. You have some proof of your IoT researcher or whatever, right? By the way, it's my turn to ask the question according to a great debate, right? Okay, wait, how much time do we have left?
We have 10 seconds.
So, judges, do we continue or do we stop?
You have like 5 seconds.
I mean, pretty much time's up, so
yeah.
It's for us. All right, we're just going to use the rest of our prep.
Okay.
We'll start that now. That's 2 minutes, 42 seconds starting now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's 1 minute, 42 seconds.
That's what I meant. My apologies. Yeah, we'll just continue it from where it was. Before I forget. All right, pretty much we're just gonna go.
Orders his case, my case. Everyone good? All right. Time starts on my first word. In the last speech, he dropped his entire case. He doesn't even extend privacy, which was his only impact he had left. He didn't extend it. You can't even flow through to the final speech. So we're just going to go to my case now. Starting on framework. Framework got dropped in every speech in this round that extinction outweighs. If I get a single link to extinction, then I win the round now because he dropped my framework throughout all 3 of the speeches. And he dropped my definition for privacy, which said that privacy is only things that happen to personal people. He's not able to bring up things about cybercrime and cyber hacking because I said that's not under the definition of this resolution and therefore cannot be weighed. Neg is only allowed to weigh decreases in privacy. And I told you privacy is only personal things, meaning the cyber hacking on corporations and stuff cannot be weighed. Now, moving on to my what he says. First, he says it will cost too much infrastructure. 1, that was a new claim. 2, we told you in first speech that we produced $14 trillion. That was from our evidence in the first speech where we said it produced $14 trillion. That's more than 1/8 of the current global GDP. That can more than cover the infrastructure cost that it will take. And we can apply the extra to solving for future technology to stop cyber hacking. Which brings my next point. Keep saying these are hypothetical, but in the first speech I gave you both Burkhalter. I gave you Burkhalter and Malla, which say that we're already solving for climate change in the status quo and give you examples from these evidences in the first speech. And then we also gave you core security, and we gave you core security 16 that says that the technology to reduce cybercrime already exists in the status quo. This isn't hypothetical. All of our evidence says all this stuff is already happening. Nothing about this round is hypothetical except for his claims that he has evidence, because he tries to give you evidence in the summary speech, which is way unfair to the neg or to the app because we only get 1 speech to respond in our 2 minutes. He's not allowed to bring up new evidence in this summary. He brings up no evidence backing up any of his warrants. He just gives you 2 statistics in the first speech. Don't let him flow through anything as evidence in the summary. He has no evidence in this round, meaning the only thing you can actually go off of for any statistics, any actual reasoning in this round was our evidence that we've provided in the first speech. Now, weighing. First, we solve for climate change 3 ways: for deforestation, resource management, energy efficiency, and other things. We say we only need to hit 18%. That was Burkhalter in the first speech, that we only need to hit 18% to solve climate change. And we solve for the economy by producing $14 trillion. Without $14 trillion, that leads to global nuclear war. That was never responded to. We went under our framework of extinction.
Can I use the last minute that I have left, please? All right. I'm ready. All right. Super. Right, ladies and gentlemen, for the last time, can we think about Emma's life, who was stealthily invaded and exploited, unbest known to her. Her every activity was meticulously tracked. Her personal information was harvested. What if Emma was related to one of you? What if, God forbid, you were one of them? As we reach the final focus, it is important to reiterate why should we reject the notion of the benefits of the IoT. Firstly, the privacy is a fundamental right that shouldn't be compromised. Secondly, cybersecurity risks as associated with IoT are literally undeniable. In fact, it seems that the headphones of the opposition are also not working because they stated that I did not state any evidence or something, but I actually truly did. Now, coming to my counterpoints here, I would like to highlight about the rapid evolving of technology. Since the past, we've seen that multiple great companies have been also inculcated to data breaches. And in fact, IoT also itself has lots of technical bugs and glitches, like you might know your phone does have as well. The IoT potential accelerates inequality as well, not talking about job displacements and economics as a whole, the unstable consumptions, the constant push of upgrades. And I would like to remind that by 2025, the automations of the IoT will result in a net loss of over 85 million jobs. And I think that's less, that in total would be quite less in the number that will be required to form the IoT, correct? That means the loss of amount of jobs, the total number would be quite greater than the ones that you talked about in the impact. Now coming to the sustainability side, the e-waste, be it the 79% of consumers that are day to day being harassed by privacy and personal risks. By focusing on these data, we can actually see the unequal distribution of the benefits of job displacement, unstable consumption, environmental impact, and etc. Thank you.
All right, good round.
Great job, everybody. Great round.
Thank you, and good job for making it to the semifinals.
Thank you. Good debate, guys.
Yeah, congratulations.
Finals will happen at 4:30. Yeah, you can.